All right. Well, I'll start with Princeton. And when we look back on that particular game, it was obviously nice to get the first win of the season under our belts and behind us. I thought there were parts of our game that we were pleased to see make progress. I thought some individual performances made progress, which was positive. And yet, while I say all that, that was their first game of the season, and I thought there were certainly areas of our game that are going to have to get much better than they were that particular night. So, we take the good out of the game and try to raise our confidence level, and yet know that there's lots of areas of our game that are going to have to get a lot better as the season continues here this week. Michigan Tech, to me, is a much better team than their record would indicate. I think they're a very good team. They play hard. They've got experience. They've played a pretty good schedule so far this season. They're a hard team to play against. They've already played in some tough buildings, Minnesota, Duluth, at Michigan. So they've been on the road, and they'll be a tough team to play against. And so we'll have to have a real good week of practice. We'll have to elevate our game against a team with the kind of experience, and they play with good work habits too. They play with good speed. They attack the net hard. They defend very very aggressively. They play one of those swarming styles in the defensive zone, and they transition the puck real quickly on the offensive side. So they're a tough team to play against, and we're going to have to be awfully good to raise our game to match their level.
Just how big of a lift is it mentally just to get that first win of the season, especially for the younger guys?
It's important. It's important from a confidence perspective. It's important to get rewarded. It was nice to see the puck go in the net a little bit, and the distribution of both goals and scoring chances. I think that was a positive. Again, I thought that game didn't have a ton of penalties either way. Obviously, they had more power plays than we had. It gave us a chance to continue to work on our penalty kill. It allowed us to distribute our minutes in the game a little better, which was kind of a nice thing too. So guys gained some experience. But overall, I think getting a win was important going into the game, and coming out of it with a win certainly helped.
Coach, you've seen your team week to week gradually get better, and last week you finally started to see it come out on the score sheet. How important is it for this weekend to continue that trend of getting better and picking up a win, or even two this weekend?
Well, I think it's real important that we continue to get better, because we have a long way to go to get to the level of play that we want to play at. And so in all areas of our game, we can get significantly better, whether it's offensively in coming up the ice and attacking the offensive zone, whether it's in the offensive zone, whether it's in the tough areas in front of both nets, whether it's defending the rush. Our power play certainly needs to get better. So there's lots of improvement to make. But I will tell you that I like the approach of our team. I like the attitude that guys are coming to the rink with every day. I ended up giving the guys Saturday off, and then we had actually a good yoga session on Sunday, and we had an excellent practice yesterday. So, guys got to experience some for the first time, some for the last time. The football experience on campus, when you have a big rivalry game like that, and, see all those dynamics. And then, like I said, we had a good session, a good workout on Sunday, and then a real good practice yesterday. So we've got to, our focus is to, literally, I know it's coach speak, but it's to get a little better every day. And then by the weekend, have a game in order to now compete at a higher level than we did the previous week. So that's our goal. And if we feel that if we can play at a higher pace, more successfully, for longer periods of time, the results will follow. And that's what our goal is.
Tom, you mentioned several times that Mason Appleton has raised his game to a different level. What specifically has he done this year to make himself such a force and an impact player?
I think a couple things, which I would say had a lot to do with his off season. In the off season, I think he really committed to improving his strength and improving his, let's call it his first 3 steps out of the hole. I think his acceleration is much improved, and that's creating some space for him. Just if you look at that first goal of the game on Friday night, it was a power play goal. Haig was in front of the net, and he was looking up towards the blue line area, and he kind of spun out of that and really pulled away from the penalty killer who was on him. Created some space, found an opening, feathered a nice pass in for a tap-in. But a lot of that had to do with him creating space for himself. So he's playing with a greater level of speed than he did a year ago. And I think that's just going to keep improving because his strength has improved a lot, not just his upper body strength, but his leg strength for sure.
Do you see him as a goal scorer?
I think he's going to. I think he can score, but I think he's more of a puck distributor probably than a goal scorer. But I think if he gets the mindset to shoot the puck more, he's got a good shot. I think that's another area that he really improved in the offseason. I think he worked hard at his shot, and he can get it off quick. So the couple goals that he has scored this season, the one against Denver, the one against, I think it was Toronto, coming down the wing. I mean, he got it off in a hurry. And snapped it pretty good. So I think he can score if he can build some confidence and a mentality to shoot the puck quicker.
Coach, looking at Appleton, still looking at his line, he has two other freshmen on his line, Hiroshi and Kodorenko. How do you think he kind of has taken kind of this leadership aspect to it, kind of being the older guy to those guys?
I think he's embraced it. Last year he played most of the season with the McEachern, and McEachern kind of got his arms around Apple early and often, and they developed a little bit of a rapport, and I think that was helpful for him, and I think he's reciprocating this year and kind of taking those guys under his wing a little bit and trying to help them. He's a real intense, competitive guy, and so sometimes that even rubs people a little the wrong way because he wants things to happen now. But when you watch those guys, I thought their line probably played the best game that they played so far this season on Friday. I thought they kind of raised their level. So that was a positive, and I think they're starting to learn how to play off each other a little bit. So I think he likes kind of being in that role and taking a lead.
And so looking at Michigan Tech this weekend, last 5 games have gone into overtime. What about the Huskies just kind of bring out this kind of competitive vibe between the two teams?
Well, they play hard, and they're upper class driven. They got a lot of seniors in their lineup. They got a number of juniors in the lineup. They can sprinkle freshmen into the lineup, which they have. It looks like they've moved their goaltending situation around, but the kid that they played most recently played real well, and I know he's coming off of a player of the week type performance, so maybe they found a guy that they're going to run with a little bit. But they play hard, so they're hard to play against. They'll play with pace. They'll play physically. As we saw in all of our games last year, they play from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. And over the years, and this dates back when I played against Michigan Tech, they had a reputation of just being a hard team to play against. And I know Mel was at Michigan for all those years, but he was at Michigan Tech as a player back in the era that I'm talking about, when my teams here used to play against their teams. So I think they've developed that mentality, and it's helped them have success. And like I said, they're coming in here. It's not like it's the first 2 road games of a season. They've played in some pretty tough places so far with a veteran team, so they'll be seasoned in that regard.
I try to ask all the key questions. Do you do yoga with the team?
What'd you say?
Do you do yoga with the team?
I did.
You do?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How'd that go?
Went pretty good, actually. I'm getting a little better. Trying to get a little better every day.
You've done it with them all along? I mean, have you done yoga before?
I've done it. My wife and my daughter are these Uber yogis, and they've kind of talked me into giving it a try. And so I have, and I can understand the benefits of it. And I figured, heck, if I'm going to ask my team to do it, I should be willing to do it. And so I have. I haven't been able. I was out of town for the first session we done. We did. I think we've done 3 now, 3 or 4, and I've been at all but 1.
Do they gripe and moan about it, or do they like?
Not in front of me, So I don't know, but it's one of those things that unless you're really into it, which I think some of the guys are. Some of the guys do it in the off season, and there's a mental component to it that I think is a huge benefit. I think there's a calming component to it when life's moving pretty fast, or when you're under stress, or when you're in a difficult, whether it's a yoga position or something, and you can learn to calm your mind down. I think that's a benefit. And then there's a flexibility component that's incredibly beneficial in core strength. So I think it's real good. It's not so easy to fit into our schedule during the course of the year, and it just so happened that this particular week, I'm not sure the guys were all that fun. When you'd have to ask them when I sent the text out at whatever time, 2 o'clock on Saturday, that we're having yoga tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I'm not sure that I heard a big cheer coming from anywhere in East Lansing, but I thought the guys worked hard at it, and in the end, felt pretty good about it.
I know you're not looking ahead, but how important are these next 4 games to gain some confidence and momentum as you go into the real teeth of your schedule?
I think they're important, and again, results are always important, so that goes without saying. But I think what's most important is that we build a game and we build an identity, and that has to continue to be our focus every day, is to build an identity and build a game that we feel good about, and we know that we can deliver every night that's going to give us a chance to win. So whether it's our goaltending, whether it's our special teams, whether it's how hard we defend or how hard we attack, all of those areas have to continue to get better. And the next test will be this weekend against a good team.
All right, another yoga-related question. So
Yoga?
Yes. When did the idea for that first come about, and do you think it'll be something that the team will continue to do throughout the season, despite the schedule?
It's a long story. I won't bore you with the details of the story, but my wife, who's an uber competitive athlete, and my daughter, who's an uber competitive athlete and played college hockey at the Division III level, they've been doing it for a few years now, and they have been on me and saying, I really think your players would benefit by this. And they just pounded it into me, and finally I gave in to going myself, and I went myself, and I also talked to some of the other coaches who did it with their teams, maybe a different kind of yoga. But when I went myself, it really hit me that in areas that I think we can benefit as a team and our players could individually, it connected with me, and I thought, let's give it a try.
And then looking at goaltender, what did you see from Ed Minnie last week, and do you think you're going to continue to alternate your 2 goaltenders throughout the season?
Do you guys draw out a hat? Who's going to ask the goalie question? How do you come up with that? Yeah, I thought Ed played well. I thought he played well. I thought the 2 goals that he gave up, really, or we gave up. I don't want to say he gave up. We gave up were goals that we made easy, and those are the kinds that you get frustrated with. You want teams to have to earn their goals. So we gave up a breakaway off of a setup breakout, and then we on a setup breakup of our own, we turned the puck over easy and gave a simple backdoor play to them that he didn't have a great chance to defend. So I thought he played well. I think his confidence continues to rise. I thought he made a couple real key stops in the game. And while I say all that, yes, I want to get Johnny Lethemon back in the net as well and build on the last game that he played. I want to see both of those guys raise their confidence level and raise their game, and I think that's going to be an important part of the next few weeks as well. So while I can't sit here and tell you what I'm going to do this weekend, because I don't know yet, but both of them will be considered options to play.
Coach, Coach, looking at the last few weeks, there's always been kind of an emphasis throughout the week during practice, whether it be special teams, offense, defense. What's kind of the emphasis going into this week, or is it kind of just like we're finally kind of working on fundamentals for this young team?
We're continuing to focus on the foundational things that we need to be good at in our style of play, and I'm going to go back to saying building our identity. So we're trying not to get too sophisticated. We're trying to get good at a few things that we feel could allow us to be reliable in those areas, and then build off of that. So that's what our focus is going to be. We'll be very aware of the tendencies that we kind of pick up in Michigan Tech, as you normally would with an opponent, and yet the majority of our focus is going to continue to be on us building our identity.
So you've talked to your daughter since her hat trick? You seen the video?
Actually, I have not.
You have not?
I have not.
Have you seen the video?
I've seen some stuff on Twitter. That's all.
Really?
Yeah. She doesn't call. That's just the course of her day. She's doing other things. So I did send her a text.
Has she ever had a hat trick?
I don't know if she's had a hat trick in college. Yeah, I'm not sure. She's had a hat trick in other levels of hockey. I'm not sure in college though. She had a hat trick last week. I'm trying to think who they played. I think they played UConn. She had 3 power play goals, which was tied her for some NCAA record for power play goals in a game, something like that. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
How do they rank these days?
I think they're fourth or fifth, something like that.
Must be that summer work you put her in.
Yeah, it was all that rigorous shooting that we were doing. I didn't think of that, Fred. That's a good idea. I'll have to mention that. I'll mention that in my text. She calls so infrequently. It's kind of like if you see her call, you're hoping nothing's wrong, And she certainly wouldn't call after having a good game. Anything else? All right. You guys have a good day.